we'll officially. So today we're talking about this idea about luck as a choice. Luck is a result of hard work, as I heard it said recently, and you'll see this resonates pretty deeply with both Chip and me. For most of my life, I thought that I was just simply missing something that other successful
Yep.
people had, and it just wasn't. It wasn't in the cards for me to get to the next level. It wasn't in the cards for me to be a successful entrepreneur. And what I missed the entire time was that I didn't see and I didn't recognize the amount of work that went on behind the scenes in the dark, as Chip is going to talk about. And my life has pivoted and changed once I realized that luck is not luck. It's a choice. It's hard work. So let's jump into it. Chip is going to teach and train for a little bit, and then we're going to turn our attention, make it practical, and run through and work through a couple exercises, just workshop style, to apply it today. So take it away, Chip.
Cool. Thank you, Derek. And I will add what Derek said is I felt the same way. I've always known in my head that uh, there's no such thing as luck. That's what I've always felt up here. My heart is still on the journey though, to getting that in action, if you will, And so I think this has been somewhat in my researching this and pulling this together, this thought, this presentation together, it's been somewhat transformative for me. And as Derek said, we both feel it and somewhat passionate about it, if you will. It's something that's there for us. So I'm going to share with you a few thoughts here. And I want to start with what I call the truth about luck. Uh, and so I want to be very pointed about one thing. Luck is not random. Luck, as Derek said, luck is a choice. You don't sit around waiting for that lucky break to happen because you have to build it. You have to create it. The people that you admire, the ones who seem to get all the breaks all the time, they're always just everything they touch turns to gold. They didn't stumble into success, and but they prepared themselves. They set themselves up. They positioned themselves, and they walked through the door when the opportunity came for them. So here's the question: it's really not whether you'll get lucky or not. The question is this: will you be ready when luck knocks on your door? I love the quote by Peter Drucker, who simply says this: the best way to create your future is to create it. It's not a matter of waiting for it to come in, not waiting for your ship, swim out to get to your ship. So we love the idea of luck, that it's a magical moment, right? When everything just falls into place. You've had it before. May not be as often as some of the people that you want or whatever, but we say things like this. She was just in the right place at the right time, and man, it just happened for her, right? Or he got a lucky break. How many of you have ever said that before? Some people just have all the luck. But if you look, that's the top of the iceberg, so to speak. If you look below the surface, if you look behind the scenes, if you pull the veil back, you're going to see a different story because luck is not an accident. It's a choice. Luck doesn't happen to people. It happens because of people. It's not about being in the right place at the right time. I've always said that. I still believe there is some truth to that element, but that's not where luck happens. It's about being the right person when the right time comes along. And that means preparation for you as well. Seneca said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So that means that you and we control our own luck, not fate. It's not random. We control it. We can dictate it to a certain degree. We can be ready for it. So the question isn't whether you're lucky or not. The question is, are you making yourself luckier? So I got a short formula here. There's three or four things here that uh, the formula for lucky people. So if luck isn't random, like I posited in the beginning there, what creates luck? Well, I believe these four things really set yourself up for success. And Derek and I were talking through this section just before we came on this morning, and he had an important question. I may stop and let him share the thought there. But the formula for lucky people is this: preparation. Number one, preparation. Are you ready for opportunities? Bobby Unser was a NASCAR driver for many years, and he said success is where preparation and opportunity meet. It's kind of the same thing you heard from Seneca a minute ago. Number two is action. Are you stepping out and are you trying new things? Remember Wayne Gretzky, one of the greatest hockey players, if not the greatest that ever played? He said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." Some of us don't ever take the shots that we need to take. We're still getting ready to get ready, if you will. Number three, the number three thing in the formula for lucky people is resilience. Do you keep going when others quit? Do you give up? You've seen that meme about the guys that are taking the tool and trying to reach the diamond, and you see the one guy turning around and going back this far from a success, and the other guy's just continuing to dig. So, are you giving up when others are still going? Um, Thomas Edison, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. You could probably go Google that and see scores of people who've given up this close to success. The fourth thing is connections. And I'm big on this. Derek's big on this. Probably you are too. Are you building the relationships that opens doors? Ken Coleman's book called The Proximity Principle is huge about that. Being in the circle, being in the people where they're doing things, where action is taking place, being in that group of people in that community where they're movers and shakers. You want to be in that group. Porter Gale said your network is your net worth. Now, think about that. Your network is your net worth. So, what is your net worth? If that's true, what is your net worth? I'll pause real quickly here because Eric asked a good question of me, and had not looked at this section in that vein. So, Derek, ask your question and share your thoughts about what you and I talked about before we came on today.
So I get to ask my question and then answer my own question.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So the question I asked, if luck is these four things, preparation plus action plus resilience plus connections, the question is this: is any one of those more weighted than the other, or are they all equally weighted? And I think for me, I recognize that I have a bias for connections. Most of you that know me know I have a strong bias towards connection, creating community. But sometimes it's not the connection that we need the most. Sometimes it's the preparation that we need. And so I think these four are always going to be present in this formula for luck. But depending on what phase, what season of life, what phase of an opportunity we have, we're coming off of an opportunity, are we looking for a new opportunity? Depends on what kind of weight we give to each one, right? Resilience needs to be part of the equation all the time. But sometimes if a tough setback happens, that resilience piece is going to give us bigger bang for our buck than the action piece.
Mm.
If we have momentum, planting seeds, moving forward, that momentum, the action piece is going to carry more weight as we build connections. So I think it's important to recognize these are four components, but they're not equally weighted. And what makes one more important, more weighty than the others depends on where we are when it comes to opportunities and challenges and setbacks and moving forward.
That's cool. The way I answered the question is after I thought about it because I had not put this together in that vein, but I think we're all at different parts of the journey. And one of those is going to resonate with you more than the other. I would have said, for example, that, and I said this to Derek, I said, I would think resilience, because Derek is always talking about resilience and staying power. But maybe your challenge or your area there is preparation part, or maybe it's the action. Maybe you need to take action on something. Are you stepping out and trying new things? Or maybe the connections. But the formula for lucky people is those four things, but which one is it that resonates or speaks to you? We talk about overnight successes, and you see them all the time. You hear about the stories about the overnight successes. So I do a little digging, and there's several overnight successes that may not have been such overnight. I want to share a few of them with you. I got 8 or 10. I'm not going to share them all with you, but many of them you know a little bit. J.K. Rowling, the great author, she was rejected 12 times before Harry Potter. She started writing Harry Potter in 1990 and finished it in 1995. 12 publishers rejected it before Bloomsbury gave her the shot. The first book came out in 1997, so 7+ years to the time of success. How many of you, I mean, there's probably a lot of you on this call who don't even know who the Beatles are. Ross, me and but probably some of the others may have heard of that ancient group back in the 60s and 70s, but I didn't know them live. I've since heard about them, but they did 1,200 shows before they hit it big. 1,200 shows in Hamburg, Germany. They were playing in bars and things like that in Hamburg, Germany before they ever got it. They playing dive bars, and they were an overnight success in 1964. But they built their luck with resilience, with staying power, with relentless practice. Most of you know who Sylvester Stallone is. He was the writer and the star in the movie Rocky in the series there. He sold his dog just to survive. Uh, he wrote Rocky in 3 days, but he was rejected over 1,500 times by studios. And then he was so broke he had to sell his dog for $40. But he held out, again, resilience and staying power, till someone agreed to let him star in his own movie. And Rocky became an overnight success and an Oscar-winning blockbuster. The one that I love, and Derek's mentioned this before too, is John Wooden. If you're a basketball fan, you probably, or even a sports fan of any kind, you know who that is, right? Um, but he was such an overnight success. It took him 27 years to get there. He coached 16 years at UCLA before winning his first championship. Before that, he had spent over a decade coaching high school and in small, no name colleges before he landed the UCLA job. And then the tip of the iceberg that you and I see or hear about most often, he won 10 NCAA titles at UCLA in 12 years, but it took him 27 years of coaching. He was coaching for 27 years. He was honing his skills, honing his perspective, trying new things, doing new things, taking action, preparation, action, and those four things I gave you earlier to win his first title. In other words, the lesson here, mastery takes time, and all of these examples and the other ones that I have here. So if you commit to the fundamentals, success is going to eventually catch up to you. But in all of those, there was preparation, there was action, there was resilience. They had staying power, they stuck with it, and they had connections in all of those cases. So those are just some of the examples of people who were, we know, to be overnight successes, but their overnight successes took years and in some cases decades. Sam Walton is another example. Oprah Winfrey, Vera Wang. You may not know who Vera Wang is, but she was a figure skater and a journalist before she started the fashion industry. She started designing at age 40. Most people thought she was too old, but now she has almost $1 billion empire there as well. Kevin Hart was another one. Of course, Samuel L. Jackson, the actor, Steve Jobs, you probably know the story there. So I won't bore you with any more of those. But so here's the thought for you here. Uh, every so-called lucky person that I just mentioned, and many others, I'm sure you could go dig up. They spent years of preparing before their big break came up. So here's the question for you: are you willing to work in the dark before the world notices your light? Are you willing to work behind the scenes? Are you willing to work in your one person office and apply the skills, learn the new things before the world sees the tip of your iceberg? It's about staying in the game long enough to win. There are 8 ways I want to share with you here about how to create your own luck and become one of the J.K. Rowlings or the Steve Jobs or the John Woodens. And the key is to really realize you can be that. Now, you may not win 10 NCAA championships, but if luck is a choice, then the question is, how do we create it? Uh, Gary Player says, the more I practice, the luckier I'll get. So I'm going to give you eight areas that I think you can use to create it. Pick one or two if you want to and start there today. But number one, prepare like luck depends on it. In other words, luck is not really there, right? There's no such thing as luck, but prepare like luck depends on it. Michael Jordan, I don't know who Michael Jordan is. He took 1,000 shots a day. So when the big moment came, he didn't hope he'd make it. He knew he'd make it. Most of us go see the game. We see that tip of the iceberg where he's going and making a game-winning shot, or we go to the game, show up in time for the tip-off, or show up late even to the game. But Michael Jordan was out taking 1,000 shots before the game every day. Luck favors the prepared. So are you training and learning? Are you practicing for that opportunity so people can see the tip of the iceberg? Number two, say yes more often. I know I may challenge you, or you saying yes to the wrong thing, or you saying yes when you say no, should say no. But in reality, the more doors you open, the more chances you give luck to walk in the door. So say yes as often as you can. Don't be frivolous about it, but if there's an opportunity there, say yes to it. Um, Richard Branson, you'll probably seen him. He says, say yes, then figure it out. So I'm going to ask you, how many opportunities have you turned down because you felt like I'm not ready for that yet? You're never going to be ready. I'll tell you that. You're never going to be ready. Number three on the list of ways to create your own luck is take more shots. Wayne Gretzky, again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. What's the worst that can happen? I ask coaches that all the time. What's the worst that can happen? I asked a client that yesterday. What's the worst that can happen if you go do this? What's the worst that can happen? Stephen King was rejected 30 times, the novel Carrie. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lack of creativity. Imagine that. I think Oprah Winfrey fired from her first job because she was too emotional in the job. So if you want more luck, take more swings. Take another shot. Number three. Number four, make more connections. And I love this part. Derek's passionate about it as well. I hope you are too, because guess what? God put people on the earth, and that's how God works. God, yeah, he's omnipresent and he's supreme. He can do whatever he wants to. But guess what? Most of the time, God chooses to work through people. So opportunities come through people. Who do you need to meet? I often ask the question, who do you know that I need to know? Who can open a door for you? So make more connections. Get out of your comfort zone. I had a guy at a men's meeting this morning that I asked him some questions, and he came in, and this group's been meeting for over a year now. Actually, Derek and Josh had an opportunity to join us. It was magical that day too, because just a lot of things came out. But one of the guys said today, he says, I don't like people, but God has called me to people. So I have to be around people. And he said it in genuine, he was trying to express to us what God wants him to do, but it's hard for him to do. But he knows what he's supposed to be doing is creating more connections. So who do you need to meet? Number five on the list of 8 ways to create your own luck, stay in the game longer. Don't give up. Don't stop. Ross Perot said most people give up right before they would have succeeded. Again, going back to the meme I think you've seen before. You know the story about Colonel Sanders, KFC chicken. I mean, he was my age when he came up with the recipe for KFC. He had over 1,000 rejections before someone invested in KFC, and he had to alter that approach. If you've heard the story, he had to alter the approach, trying to get people to buy into his story. Um, I told you about Sylvester Stallone selling his dog. He wasn't going to give up because he had to sell his dog to keep moving forward. So have you quit too soon? Are you quitting too soon? Are you giving up before you get to the gold or the diamonds? Ask yourself that question. Stay in the game longer. Yesterday, I was making phone calls to prospects, and I have a list here, a stickman list of how many calls I made, and I got to where I thought, okay, well, I've made 10 calls here. I thought, make one more call. Make one more call. Leave one more voicemail. Send one more email. The call that I made was probably the best one of the day. It was a guy from Georgia, as a matter of fact. Derek, and fascinating call. He's a pastor, working, doing some career stuff, and he's a pastor that was wondering if this was the place to be, and had a great conversation. We'll have a consultation next week, but you never know when that next call will be, and what it will bring in the next email, the next voicemail, or you answer the call, the opportunity. You can't pick the opportunities, but you can pick whether you're quitting too soon. Stay in the game longer. Here's another good one: that take risks what that others won't take. There's a lot of people out there that are going to, jump into this one or jump into that one. But what makes you different that you're going to take this risk here? Nobody else will take it. Nobody else will risk this or step out in this area. So what will you do? Jeff Bezos left a high-paying job to start Amazon. Uh, Oprah Winfrey's story. As I told you a minute ago, she got fired because she was too emotional. And she went out and started a multi-gazillion billion dollar empire, right? So if you want different results, the insanity definition. If you want different results, though, take different risks. If you keep doing the same thing and expecting something different, that's just silly. It's called insanity if you want to go there. But take the risk that other people won't take. That's number 6 on the list. Number 7 is I want to encourage you to create your own momentum, because luck builds on itself. Luck starts the snowball effect, right? I mean, how that does with finances, getting it downhill. Luck builds on momentum. So the more you do, the more you get noticed. Ed Sheeran says you have to write 100 bad songs before you write one good one. He's another example of one of those overnight successes. I think he had written tons of songs before one got noticed here and there. I knew a man. Some of you have heard heard the song, the worship song, "I Exalt Thee." Uh, I exalt thee. But that man, that story behind it, I know him. I actually know the guy. I met him in Colorado, and he tells his story is like this. He was writing, he was going through Psalms and writing a song from each Psalm on a daily basis. And I can't remember what Psalm that is. It's in the 60s or 70s or somewhere in the Psalms where he came and wrote, I exalt thee. But he wrote 100 and some odd other songs. That was the one that people caught on to, that resonated with people. But he wrote the other ones and nobody's ever heard them, he said. So resilience and staying in the game and creating that momentum. What did he do? He wrote dozens and dozens before and that song has connected. And from a very real perspective, it's paid his retirement, right? From all of the plays and all the times it's been sung. Are you creating momentum? Or are you waiting for it? Are you going out to meet your ship? Or are you waiting for it still to come in and it's not coming in? Number 8, stay positive and open-minded. There's a lot of us that are, it's easy to get closed-minded. It really, you get real closed-minded. You just say, I can't, or I won't, or this didn't work, or I tried it once and boom, it's not going to work for me. Lucky people believe in luck. You may be waiting for luck to happen to you. If you are, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be in that closed mindset. But they expect good things to happen. If you think you're unlucky, you close yourself off from opportunity, though. So check on your mindset. How is your mindset? Do you see opportunities, or do you see obstacles? Are you operating in a closed mindset or in a growth mindset? A closed mindset simply says, I can't do it. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. A growth mindset simply says, how can I do this? And it opens up an entirely different avenue for you. So, number 8, stay positive and open-minded. So, recapping real quick, the 8 ways to create your own luck is prepare like luck depends on it. Prepare like luck depends on it. Say yes more often. You can be picky and choosy, but say yes to opportunities. Take more shots. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Number 4, make more connections. We talked about that. Stay in the game longer. Don't give up. Make one more phone call. Make one more visit. Reach out one more time. Write one more blog entry. Do one more thing, right? Take risks that other people won't take. Do something that everybody else is not doing. Be different. Number 7, create your own momentum. Luck builds on itself, the snowball effect there. And number 8, stay positive and open-minded. have a growth mindset, not a closed mindset. So let's recap real quickly here, and then I'm going to turn it over to Derek here. Luck's not a mystery, it's a choice. I'm starting to learn and live that more often. It follows the formula: preparation, action, resilience, and connections. And you create luck by taking more shots, preparing relentlessly. You may have to write hundreds of blog entries before one takes really root or whatever, and stay in the game. So the final call to action is this: what's one action you can take today to get luckier? We all have something we can do today to get luckier. Where have you been waiting for luck instead of working for it? And I'll say it again, like, where have you been waiting for your ship to come in that you just need to go for it and swim out to meet the ship? And who, this is big, who can help you get to the next level? Because your luck is waiting for you, but will you create it? Your luck is waiting for you, but will you take the initiative and create your luck? Thomas Jefferson said, the harder I work, the luckier I get. So now you've got some tools here. So go out and make your own luck. And Derek's going to take a few minutes here to help you put some of these things into action over the next few minutes and help you come up with ways that you can develop your own luck and create your own luck.
Thank you, Chip. That was absolutely fantastic. And I think if we're all honest with ourselves, we are where we are in life because let's call them lucky breaks, but let's not call them lucky breaks because we have made decisions based on preparation, based on action, resilience, and connections that brought us here. You think about, why are you here? Because at some point, either Chip or I connected with you, or you connected with us. Some of you have connected with each other. And this thrills us more than anything else to see y'all connect with each other. We're going to work through a very simple exercise, but I do believe will be very profound and insightful for you, just to boil us all down. And if you're able to come on camera, I think it helps with the accountability of doing the work and sharing your insights and what's come up for you. So 4 components of luck that Chip shared: preparation, action, resilience, and connections. Either draw a 2x2 matrix on your piece of paper. I see several of you with notes. So create 4 boxes, or just create them in a list. But write them down on a piece of paper. And then give yourself a grade, 1 to 10. How am I doing in this area when it comes to creating luck? So the 4 areas are preparation, action, resilience, and connections. Scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing? 10 is, I could teach a masterclass on it. I have worked very hard in my preparation. I've worked very hard on my resilience. 1 is, I have fallen flat on my face and I have no plan of getting up. And this is not to judge. We're not here to judge anybody. You're not here to judge yourself, I hope. But simply to raise awareness of, if we're going to create luck, luck is not random. These are the pieces that go into it. So if we're struggling in one area, let's figure out how to get better in that area. So if we're going to create our future, the best way to create our future is to create our future. So let me give you a moment. Preparation, action, resilience, connections. How have you been doing? Give yourself an assessment, an honest, fair assessment. And then for each one, here's where we get practical and we can apply it. let's say I scored a 4 in preparation. What is one action, or what is one thing I can do to move that from a 4 to a 5? And then do that for each category. Again, preparation, action, resilience, connection. What is one thing that I can do, or what is one thing I need? You think about connections. Who is one person I can reach out to? What is a lunch that I need to schedule to move it from a 7 to an 8? We're not here to create quantum leaps to get you from 2 to 10. That's not how it works. Let's move stepwise as we make progress. So let me give you 2 or 3 minutes and really consider what's going to help you move up one step in each of these categories.
Will you repeat the categories one more time?
Sure will. Yeah. Preparation, action, resilience, and connection. And I'll put them in the chat as well. I'm very much more of a visual learner than I am auditory. Yeah, thanks, Jesse. I'm watching all of you to see if you're still writing or if you are ready to go. Why don't you give me a thumbs up when you're ready to go? Great. It's one thing to say this is what I need to do. I am a master of talking my way into something or out of something with sometimes very little intent to actually do what I'm saying. It's just I know what I can talk a good game is what I'm trying to say. So you've written things down. You've talked a good game to your piece of paper. Congratulations. For each one of those things, either pick up your phone, text the person that say we need to grab lunch, or write down, this is when I'm going to do it. And I would love if by the top of the hour, you had completed one of these things already. Now, I might be pushing you too far. You can gauge that for yourself. But think about the core, at the core of what Chip was talking about. This is idea about taking action. About even in preparation. Preparation is a thing that we do. Resilience. Maybe it's some accountability that you need. Maybe it's calling somebody that you respect, a mentor, let's say, and saying, man, I'm really struggling. I'm discouraged. Text him, text her, and say, can we meet sometime? My son plays middle school soccer. His team could have scored twice as many goals as they've already scored if simply one thing had happened. Same thing every time. Either the person with the ball passed it one step sooner or shot it one step sooner. But they hold on to it and then they wait till it's the right time and they lose the opportunity. Why do I say if you can take an action, take it now? Because why not now? Why not create momentum now? How does waiting serve you? Other than to keep you in your comfort zone. So it's my turn to stop talking. I'd like to turn it over to you because this is all about you. This is about you, your luck, your future, your impact. What insights, what actions are you taking away from today? Sometimes simply speaking it helps elevate the level of accountability and desire to take action. What insight or what action will you be taking, or have you already taken? I'd love to hear that. Matt, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Hey guys, thank y'all for y'all's wisdom and insight and all y'all's preparation, by the way. One of the things that I know that I need to do for my coaching practice specifically is the following up with not clients or prospects or leads necessarily, but I have like a couple of opportunities that I've tried to reach out for, and I've already either been told no or go through this system. We'll get back with you at this time. So my example is like our public library and the police department here in town. And what I want to do is basically do like a budgeting overhaul or like a budgeting workshop to try to build and equip those who serve. Really, my heart's more for like first responders, military, firefighters, and all that. And so I had this idea probably a month and a half ago, and I just feel like I just let it go and haven't followed through with that. And so one of the things that was revealed during this thing is like, man, taking the action of following back up again, because that idea didn't just drift away. It's still there, it's still in the works, but I feel like I kind of got that maybe it stems more with resilience than action. But long story short is I kind of got that like, well, I'll talk to you a little later about it and kind of got dismissed, but I need to revisit it again. So
Matt, I've been there 100 times, and I'll be back, I'm sure. Just I know me, but let me ask you this question, if I can, Matt. When are you going to make that phone call, and which EMT first responder library is it going to be to?
the one that's downtown in New Braunfels, I'm in te New Braunfels, Texas.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
to answer your question, when I should do that.
Let's not talk about should. I don't care about
Mm,
should.
mm, I'm looking at my calendar. That's why I'm looking above the thing.
Yeah.
You know, today would be a great day. Today would be a great day. I'm just gonna say it, I need to do that.
What time?
I have a call at 2, so I probably could do it right. Really, I have a gap. I have a gap between 12 and 2, so 1.
Why not 12?
I'll be finishing some notes and
Ah,
eating lunch. But but yes, you're right. So 1 p.m.
Why not mute your phone and do it now?
Uh-oh.
Oh, Jesse.
Jesse done stopped preaching and gone to meddling now.
Buddy, if you want me to get off the call, Jesse, we can do that. So,
Why get
I
off the
didn't say get
call?
up. I just said mute.
okay.
We'll watch you pick the phone up.
We'll be here. We'll be here when you get back.
All right. Sounds good.
Aren't you glad you came, Matt?
I am. I love that.
Now the next person knows what's coming for them. So who's next?
I guess I called somebody out, so I should probably go next, huh? Um, one of the things I wrote down, and right after I wrote it down, I added a time block on my calendar, was to actually build out the outline to group coaching that I've ideated for way too long. So looked at my calendar. I have 3 calls this afternoon, so I've blocked out 2 hours on Monday for putting that together.
Good. What is your desired outcome from that 2 hours? It'll be a wild success if what?
I would say I'll give you a mild success and then I'll give you a wild success. The first mild success is actually doing it, having it in my archives, doing the preparation and taking the action. The wild success will be um, having a conversation with my wife and including her in some group coaching because that's been a new idea that we've recently had of her helping do some group coaching so that we can put time on the calendar, say, here's when we are offering group coaching. And then I've begun a list of names of people who've said they were interested in coaching, but felt that one-on-one coaching was cost prohibitive.
Hmm.
And giving lower incomes, it probably is cost prohibitive. Um, but I've been compiling that list of names for 12 months now.
Yeah.
So going with a direct heart-to-heart conversation rather than a shotgun blast where I just sent an email with a video inviting people to group coaching last year that received zero feedback.
Yeah. Good. So Jesse, just so I'm clear, maybe just so you're clear, is the wild success that you talk to Claire about it, or is wild success that Claire says yes?
Wild success is putting it on the calendar and saying these are the days in 2025 when group coaching will be open.
Nice. Nice. And I suspect it'll be a wild success because I know who controls your calendar in the mouse clicks to get there. It's great. Matt, go ahead. We got about 1 minute left on this portion of our call. So share what you got there, buddy.
Well, the biggest thing that happened to me this last week was when Chip really hit me hard as far as not so much the preparation, but the action part of what I'm doing. And so one thing about, the job that I do have, in FedEx is that I'm good at blocking, at knowing what times to knock out certain portions and sections of the route. So I took that and I go, okay, I know I can't control the volume of the day and how long it's going to take me to get done depending on that volume. But but I know that on average I get home at X time every day. Let's just say 6:30. And okay, I eat dinner. I can engage with my family for a little bit of time. But then by, let's just say 8:30, that time, that is my call time. That is my pick up the stinking phone and make the call and make the calls. And do that for start with a half hour. And again, if you don't get a response, leave a voicemail. I've got Judd Blunt's website in front of me. I can use that as my guideline.
Matt, can I step in for a moment?
Go ahead. You're going to anyway because I know you, but go ahead. I hate it when you ask that question because I'm like, just say it. No, dude, I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
It's my nice way of pausing. James Clear is the expert on how to go from 0 to 1, to go from what you're not doing to what you're doing.
Yes.
And he says something very counterintuitive that I'm going to challenge you with, because I've heard you say I'm going to go spend 30 minutes a day making phone calls, and that's not panned out very well yet, I believe, right?
Not yet.
Okay. So here's my challenge to change it up. What is a 2-minute version of the action? What is a 2-minute version of the habit that you're trying to begin? And I would challenge you with this. Don't make 30 minutes of phone calls.
Okay.
Make one phone call. Take 2 minutes. Build. Don't go from 0 to 100. Go from 0 to 1. Matt, your challenge right now is to go from 0 to 1.
Okay.
So do what it takes to go from 0 to 1. And once you've established the habit of making a phone call. Now, making a phone call once a day is not going to build a business. We all know that.
Right. Yeah.
But our goal is not to build a business like that. That's not how businesses work, especially when you've got multiple things on your plate. So I'm talking to all of us here. If
Yeah.
we're going to go from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, right? Then we can start talking about going 3 to 10. But let's be really clear about where we are and where we want to go.
Yeah.
My challenge for you, Matt, is not to go to 30 minutes. My goal for you, my challenge for you is take the preparation, the action, the resilience, the community, the whole thing, the whole package. Make one phone call a day. Do that for a week, and then let's talk.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Will you take that on?
So crawl, walk, run, go in that. Okay.
It's worked
I
for
see
the
what you're
entirety
saying.
of human history.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Good. Thanks, Matt. And thanks for letting me interrupt you.
Yeah. No, you got it.
So we're going to turn our attention now on talking about creating luck. We have a mastermind that we're starting in just a couple weeks in the month of April that we're running from April through June. It's a quarterly mastermind. Josh, Chip, and I have led this now for I think 6 or 7 quarters, 6 quarters in a row now. Everyone is better than the previous one. Let's just go to Josh's video. Chip. Josh is not here today. He's on spring break, taking time with his family. Josh is going to share with us for 2 minutes just a highlight of the quarter coming up, and then I'm going to tell you why I'm excited about it, and then we will go from there.
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it, or let me know if you can. I want to make sure you're hearing what Josh has to say here.
Hey everybody. We often drift in life to wherever we end up at. I challenge you, you need to start shifting. Quarter 2, Derek, Chip, myself, we're going to lead a mastermind, 8 sessions designed to help you maximize your use of time. The time in quarter 2, we're going to challenge you. We're going to bring in outside experts. We're going to kick off with one of the most dynamic people you will meet in your life. What I want to encourage you to do is to look in the mirror, ponder. How much are you drifting versus shifting? How intentional are you? How much are you getting guided? We all need help to get where we want to go. Some guy somewhere once said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Join us as we embark on a quarter that will leave me changed, and if you commit, will leave you changed as well. These 8 meetings kick off April 3rd and go through June 26th, so they span the quarter. Join us. You won't regret it. The only thing you'll regret is that you didn't know these people sooner. Come, join us. Grow. Hey, everybody.
It's great. So let me tell you, Josh mentioned the guy who's kicking it off. So we're doing something different this time than we've done before. Is we're bringing in people from the outside, our community that we have built separately from this community. The guy who's kicking it off is my mentor. He lives here in Macon, Georgia, and I have the privilege of going to Waffle House breakfast with him about once a month or so. His name is Brandon Christie. He runs a very successful retirement planning business. The reason that he's going to come and speak to us is because this idea about drifting and shifting. Let me tell you what Brandon does in his career and his life, and he's going to kick off and set the tone, the stage with. For the last 10 years of his career, every 2 to 3 years, he has created transitions in his business. Every 2 to 3 years, he has not waited to see where his business and where industry and where the market's going to go. He has looked square in the eye of his future and said the best way to predict the future is to create it. He says, this is where I'm going to take my business in 3 years. And he works methodically, strategically. He asks this question repeatedly, who, not how, as he builds his team. And he transitions and he says, Derek, my job is to work myself out of a job, so I'm ready for the next transition. He does not drift through life. Now, it's interesting. Josh calls him a dynamic individual, because you'll meet Brandon. He's not a crazy extrovert with a lot of external energy, but he is a dynamic individual because he thinks very intentionally and strategically about his life and his business. And frankly, he said to me about 2 years ago, we should go to breakfast sometime. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But I've been blessed to sit across the table from him many, many times. And he asked me questions that get right to the core of where I'm going, because he sees in business, if we're going to be successful, we need to shift where we're going, not just drift. And he has helped me many, many times individually to shift where I'm going next, to say, this is a transition I need to get to. Derek, if you're going to do this in the next 2 years, here's the next 4 steps you need to work yourself through. And if you're not going to work yourself through these 4 steps, you can kiss that result goodbye. But he's continually creating transitions and shifts in his life. I think it'll absolutely set the tone for the quarter, for the mastermind. And if I could share with you something about Brandon that he probably doesn't want me to tell you, but I'm going to tell you because it tells you what kind of man he is. Brandon has a maximum net worth. Brandon got to a point several years ago, working himself out of a job so he could start the next transition, where his company started making way more money than he and his wife realized they don't need that much money. So his mission is to find places to send his money to. He has a maximum net worth. How did he get there? By shifting through transitions on purpose. This is the kind of guy that Brandon is. So don't come, if you're questioning it, don't come for Chip, Josh, and me. Y'all know us. Come for Brandon. He'll be with us just for the first session, but he will absolutely set it on a momentum for the entire time. So on that, Chip, did you have some information you want to share or put in the chat that you can have? Tammy asked for a schedule. Yeah, we start on, you have those details, Chip?
I have a schedule. I can tell you what, best thing is set up a meeting. I'll put the link here in the chat box. You can schedule a meeting with me. We'll talk through all the details, everything that's involved there. I'll get a schedule for you, and you can ask questions. That's probably the best thing, and see if it's a good fit for you. If that's what you aligns with your model and business plan for the year. In addition to Brandon, I have a couple of other guests. I'll have a guest that counting on. I think we can make the time work. He's actually from Nigeria. He lives here in the States now, but he'll bring a different element to what we're doing. And then we have another couple of people that we think are going to be there. So we'll continue the idea of Josh and Derek and I training and teaching some things, giving you some insight, but we're expanding to bring in other people that are going to help you grow even more. So yeah, click on that, set a meeting with me sometime in the next week or two, whenever that's convenient for you. I'll be happy to give you all the details. There are a couple of scholarships available, and there are some other things that we can enlighten you with. Also, if you're not a member of our Facebook group, I think most people are, but if you're not, why not? Join our Facebook group, and I'll put that one in the chat as well. So join our Facebook group. We make all kinds of things there. We have some videos there. We have some other things that are really good. So if you're not part of the Facebook group, do that as well. And that didn't see, why did that go out to just Derek here? Let me put that. Here we go.
Yep, it's in the chat.
There you go. Okay, good deal. All right, cool deal. All right. That's what I got.
Awesome. As
Hope
we
you enjoyed
close,
today.
yeah, as we close, I want to acknowledge Matt. Matt, I don't know what the result of your phone call was, but I want to highlight how you came back and reported to us. You said, I made the call. Luck is not about dictating the result that we get. Frankly, we don't know the result we're going to get. But luck is about the things that we control. And Matt, what you did was you controlled what you controlled, and you came back and you said, I did the thing. So you've got 4 minutes extra in your day that you're not going to spend with Chip and me. Go do something with what you can control. And like Matt, you can come back and say, I did the thing. Did the result exactly happen the way I wanted to? I don't know if it's going to or not, but go do the thing. The effort is within our control, and that's how we impact lives. On that, thank you for being here. I'm better because of these sessions. So thank you. Any last words, Chip?
Nope. Hope to see you next month. We'll be back. Look for the link in the middle of April, and we hope to see you then. Thanks for being here, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.